Big decision just happened at the Supreme Court. Basically, they are allowing ICE to be able to interrogate people based upon the way they look, based upon the way they sound, based upon possibly where they are working at. So you got to be aware of what's going on in the country now, because it might just affect you or one of your family members. Roland Martin breaks it down with with my favorite guest that he has ever had on his show, Ellie Mistel. Let's dive right into it, guys.
Racism is okay. Well, that's going to be real tough. Boy, the Supreme Court today give Latinos their wake up call in a 6-3 decision. The Supreme Court reversed a lower court ruling that.
And that was the reason why I was so shocked. I want to just add this in real quick, that the majority of Latinos voted for Trump, at least over 50% overall voted for him. That was shocking because I knew what was down the pipeline.
That folks, this is actually unbelievable. It's unbelievable that race, ethnicity, and language can now be used as grounds for reasonable suspicion in immigration raids. That's right. It clears the way for ICE agents to conduct sweeping interrogation efforts in Los Angeles. The majority lifted a lower court restraining order that had blocked these raids. Yeah, Governor Gavin Newsom, this is a statement that he released after the Supreme Court decision. Trump's hand-picked Supreme Court majority just became the grand marshal for a parade of racial terror in Los Angeles.
Now read his quote, though. He might not be the best on policy, but he's speaking facts right here, boy, in my opinion. It's everybody. It ain't just California. People are saying, oh well, California just got to deal with it till it's at your front door.
This isn't about enforcing immigration laws. It's about targeting Latinos and anyone who doesn't look or sound like Stephen Miller's idea of an American, including U.S. citizens and children, to deliberately harm California's families and small businesses. Trump's private police force now has a green light to come after your family, and every person is now a target, but we will continue fighting these abhorrent attacks on Californians. Ellie Mistel is the Justice correspondent.
Crazy times.
He wrote an article that dropped today that's called "The Supreme Court Just Gave the Okay to Racial Profiling." Ellie joins us right now. Ellie, how you doing?
Yes, they did.
I'm terrible. This is one of the most racist decisions the Supreme Court has issued since Plessy v. Ferguson, and I can't express enough how disgusting it is and how, again, definitionally racist the Supreme Court was today.
Mm-hmm.
Well, absolutely. And the thing that's insane to me, what's totally insane to me, is they're saying, oh yeah, if they look, if they sound Latino, look Latino, smell Latino, yeah, y'all go ahead and pull them over.
So basically, the Supreme Court, in my opinion, they just basically okay discrimination based upon race, color, language. That's what they just basically okay that the law enforcement, at least the ICE branch of law enforcement, can conduct their interrogations by that way.
The court's outlined what's interesting here is that the court just said that racial profiling is now constitutional, right? And what's interesting here is that the government never tried to hide it, right? Like, the government often, when they do horribly racist things, they're trying to say, like, oh, actually, we're not being this racist because of that. Actually, it's not as bad as it looks. And this time, the government was straight up, no.
Government went full mask off. I just said for Ellie, they went full mask off. Usually they try to make the facade like, hey, it ain't as bad as it is. They just say, no, just give us this power, damn it. We're gonna be honest with you.
We are racially profiling Latinos in Los Angeles. They outlined 4 different factors, Roland, for why ICE is allowed to stop anybody, round anybody up, legal or illegal. They outlined 4 factors. One was, does the person look
Did y'all hear what he just said? Illegal or legal? Keep that in mind when you're out there walking, when you're out there driving. Keep that in mind, especially in LA.
Latino. Not even is Latino. Do they just look Latino, right? 2, do they speak English with a Spanish accent, or do they speak Spanish, right? So if you now look Latino and you speak Spanish, you can be rounded up by ICE. 3 and 4,
Crazy.
what kind of job the person is doing, or again, appears to be doing, and where the person happens to be when ICE picks them up, right? So if you're a Latino person walking out of the Home Depot, guess what? You can be rounded up whether you were there for work or whether you were there to pick up a doorknob for your house, right?
Crazy.
It is, again, definitionally racist. The government admitted to this level of racism, saying that you can round people up just because they look Latino and speak Spanish, and the Supreme Court was like, yeah, that's fine. 6-3, Brett Kavanaugh with the concurring opinion here. And what's wild, and I saw our friend Jamel Hill.
6-3, so not even one conservative justice had the balls, the decency, the awareness to say, let me not end up on that side of history. Not one. Not even the swing vote of Amy Coney Barrett. Sickening.
Make this point, Roland. This is the same Supreme Court that says you cannot look at race when it comes to college admissions, right? So you can't look at race when it comes to whether or not you're allowed to go to college.
Here's
but
hypocrisy.
You can look at race when it comes to whether or not you have to go to jail or get deported from the country, right? It is absolutely insane to me. The other thing here that Kavanaugh did that I find so, I'm trying to find the nice word to it. It's the whitest thing possible, right? Is how Brett Kavanaugh.
I'm just gonna preempt him. You know it's gonna be some bullshit when he says the whitest thing that he could say, because what he's basically saying is he's speaking from a perspective that he's probably never dealt with a situation like ICE apprehending you for any particular thing. Go ahead, Ellie.
Right. Describe what it is to be stopped by ICE. He said it was a usually very brief, polite, and prompt conversation where if you're a legal person, if you're a legal immigrant or legally a U.S. citizen or just happen to be born here, where you're allowed to walk free after simply proving to ICE's satisfaction that you're a citizen, right? And of course, from Brett Kavanaugh's white-ass perspective, I'm sure that's what he thinks. But I bet, Roland, Brett Kavanaugh would react.
Ooh. Hey, y'all, here come the dig. Ellie finna cook a little bit, and this dig finna be thrown, directly at Brett Kavanaugh. And it is chef's kiss. If you know, you know from the previous Supreme Court hearings when Brett Kavanaugh was getting confirmed.
Act differently if the question was, hey, Brett, there have been a lot of rapes in this area, so we're just rounding up all the white guys to see if they committed any of these rapes. Hey, Brett, do you have a calendar, perhaps, that you could show that proves that you didn't commit any of these rapes? I bet Brett Kavanaugh would feel a lot differently if that's what the government was doing instead of simply racially profiling Latino Americans.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, you got the resident Negro, Clarence Thomas, agreed with it. Alito, John Roberts, Amy Coney Barrett, Sam Alito, and I mean, yeah, they co-sign racism. They now here's the thing. All right, is this ever narrow? Is this narrow? I mean, basically, they just said stop and frisk is now perfectly constitutional. I'm telling you. These folks are going to use this against black people. Oh, they're good.
I'm glad Roland brought that up, because a lot of people don't have empathy for the Latino people. And even I said I was surprised earlier that they voted for Trump. The majority of them at least voted for him, over 50% at least combined, the men and the women. But I still have empathy of people that did not vote for this guy, did not vote for this administration, and being torn away from their families without due process. But I think other people in other races, they're going to quickly understand that it is not, this thing that they're doing is not designed just to affect the Latinos. Break it down, Ellie.
Use it against everybody. Anybody who thinks that this is going to stay in the Latino community is just, first, you lack empathy, and second, you're just fooling yourselves. If they can use racial profiling to round up Latinos, again, regardless of whether or not they're of legal status, you're absolutely right. It's going to come for Black people next. It's going to come for Asian Americans next. You know, you're a Vietnamese woman working in a nail parlor. Guess what? You can be rounded up on suspicion of being an illegal immigrant, right? You are a Chinese man who happens to own their own dry cleaner. Guess what? You can be rounded up. And just in case ICE thinks that you're a legal immigrant. The other thing Brett Kavanaugh and the rest of the racist conservatives don't bother to explain is, what does it require to prove to ICE that you're a citizen? I mean,
they didn't even have the decency to let it be known what it is that is required of you to prove to ICE that you are a citizen. You know, that leaves the door open, right, for a lot of bullshit, right? Break it down some more, Ellie.
Beyond the fact that you shouldn't have to show your papers, what papers do you need according to ICE? Because the Supreme Court makes no standards for what ICE is allowed to ask you or not, right? What they're allowed to require or not. Again, white folks, as far as I know, and I'm not white, so maybe it's a little bit different on that side of the tracks, but I don't know a lot of white people that run around with their birth certificates in their pocket, right? I don't know a lot of white folks that keep proof of citizenship in their wallets. And of course, white people don't have to, because white people know their proof of citizenship is on their face, right? Even if they're like, are German, working in a beer hall. Oh, nobody's going to question them. They are clearly allowed to be here because of the color of their skin. Everybody else apparently needs to carry around papers that ICE can demand to be shown in the back of one of their trucks whenever they want. That is the upshot of this Supreme Court ruling. Brett Kavanaugh specifically addresses the fact that in many of these cases, the people who are round up, again, legal or illegal, are being brutalized. And he says, yeah, I don't have to concern myself.
Supreme Court justice basically acknowledging it, but basically at the same time, according to Ellie, saying, nah, but it doesn't matter. Basically meaning that it's those people that are being affected. They'll be okay. The lack of humanity is so loud. It is unbelievable. I mean, unreal.
Off with that. That's not an issue for this case. If they're being brutalized, there are other federal courts that you can go to allege police brutality, not mentioning the fact that Brett Kavanaugh has been a consistent vote to deny people access to the courthouse in cases of police and official federal brutality. Oh, he doesn't mention any of that. He just says he doesn't have to care about police brutality because that's going to be some other case.
Didn't know that about Brett.
I called it online the most racist decision this court has made since Plessy v. Ferguson, because it is the straight up application of a double standard based on the color of your skin in this country. If you are brown and on a train or on a bus, the government can snatch you off of that train and make you show your papers. If you're white, they can't. That's racism.
101.
I'll tell you what, if you're coming here for the FIFA World Cup, no way in hell I would come to the United States.
I gotta agree with Roland on this one. Usually I would say, hey man, everybody come to the country, enjoy our country, enjoy our countrysides, enjoy everything about our country. But It's a very perilous time now to come to our country. It's a very dangerous time, especially if you're black and brown, because you may not be able to go back to your country in peace. You may be rounded up and sent to a third country that you've never been to before, that you don't even know what the customs are, what life is there. But then again, the cruelty is the point. So what Roland is saying right here, right now, I can't disagree at all.
Or even the Olympics.
Well, I mean, look, if you're coming to cheer on the Germans, why not, right?
Good point,
if you're coming
Ellie.
to cheer on Wales, I'm sure you're good, right? And I'm sure if you're coming to cheer on Argentina, you think you're going to be good. Because you think you're going to, because, you assume that white people have that card of, like, skin tone, okay, not okay. And if you're Argentinian, I'm sure you feel like you're going to be on the right side of okay. But if you're Brazilian, can you be sure?
Not as close.
If you're Ecuadorian, can you be sure?
Not as close.
Be on the right side of it. Don't dare try to come here cheer on Team Mexico. We know what's going to happen to
you'll be persona
and quite frankly,
non grata.
Don't come here to cheer on Ghana, neither, right? Don't come here to cheer on Tunisia, neither. Because you might not be on the right side of the color line. Because remember, folks, one of the things the Supreme Court said in this decision is that if you just look Latino, you can be rounded up.
Did y'all just hear that? One of the main things that the court said okay to is if you just look Latino. You could be a legal U.S. citizen. You could be an Asian American. You could be a Native American. But because maybe you look Latino, you look basically like you could be an illegal immigrant, we can bother you now. This changes the game big time.
Looking Latino is enough, right? I'm Haitian. But do I look like I could be Dominican? I don't know. But apparently, if I do, according to ICE, then they can make me show them my papers. And since I was born in Queens, I don't got no paper. I don't know where my papers are to prove that I was born in Queens.
Have a drink, Ellie. For real.
White folks white. This is the America that we're living in. That's what this boils down to, Ellie.
Yeah.
And listen, my book is called White Fear for a reason. These people, they want a white nation.
Now, Roland is breaking into what the people want. They want a white nation and all of this stuff. And the vast majority, or should I say a good majority of them do, but obviously not all white people do. There's a lot of good white people out there. But those good white people need to get with us. African Americans get with us. Latinos get with us. Asians. And we need to get a cohesive unit. Because if this ain't the time, I don't know when it will ever be the time.
They, over the weekend, Elon Musk was posting a bunch of tweets talking about the white fertility rates.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, no one cares about this. And I was like, well, take your ass back to South Africa. And so that's the whole deal. So this is, you see it right here. White people.
Now, do y'all see this? It says white people are a rapidly diminishing minority of global population. He puts his reasoning behind that initial statement by posting from Radio Genoa. In 1900, white population in the world was 36%, and today it is 8%. Now, do y'all know how you get your population up? You have to have sex in order to make a baby, in order for the baby to get here and grow up and then get added to the population. So what is the problem? Because y'all ain't screwing? Because y'all ain't making babies? You have to blame the other people that are actually still just doing natural things and making babies with their mates. But that's privilege right there. I gotta find somebody to blame. And if I can blame a black, a brown, somebody that doesn't look like me, well, I feel justified in doing what I do. I feel justified in othering people and saying that those people need to get out of this country. It's truly despicable. But would you expect anything less from Mr. Musk? I can't say that I did. Oh, come on.
People are
There we
rebels,
go.
diminishing minority of global population. All of this is tied, Ellie. All of these rulings are tied. They do not want to lose being the majority race. That's what this is all about. This is whiteness at play. It is my book, White Fear, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Minds. And today, the white Supreme Court, including that white black man, Clarence Thomas, they lost their mind.
I'm glad he broke down that white black man on the Supreme Court, because I don't think a good majority of black people consider him a black man and anyone to be proud of from our race to make it to the highest court in the land. He will probably go down as one of the worst justices in the history of this country, that always look to rule against things that would be beneficial to people that look like him. And I think that's will be part of his legacy. He will always be on the wrong side of history. And with this ruling, he solidifies being on the wrong side of history.
With this racist ruling.
And the thing is, they've already lost it. They've already lost their dominant status. They've already lost their majority status. If everybody else could just come together. And so, like, the only shred of hope that I can take from today's ridiculous day is that I would hope that other Latinos of goodwill and good conscience could perhaps rise up together with black people, with Asian people, with Native American people. Because if we all hang together, the GOP can't win. If we all hang together, the white supremacists can't win, right?
Facts.
There are enough of us plus a few good-meaning whites.
Yes.
We stick together.
I'm glad Ellie mentioned that. I'm glad Ellie mentioned that, because there are a number of good whites that don't subscribe to this thinking, are not with that white supremacy bullshit, and they are with their brothers of different colors from different mothers. They're with them through and through. And I can literally say I've known many of white people that were better to me than people that look like me. And I'm just keeping it 100, as they say, keeping it a buck. So we all got to come together with the same mindset and the same goal. Go ahead, Ellie. Finish it off.
Racists will lose, but we have to all come together, because if we doing this, the divide and conquer strategy, which has always been the white man strategy, can go back to how they colonize most of the rest of the world. The divide and conquer strategy has always been the white man's greatest strategy. And if we could just take that away from them, they would lose.
Yes. Facts. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Go to thenation.com. Ellie, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Christopher, I want to start with you. I mean,